Hey, welcome back to my channel. We talk about all things embodiment, entrepreneurship, and living your best, most delicious dream life. Today I wanted to explore something that is, as always, personal to me, but I know it's something that a lot of us go through, and especially with such pivotal times happening at the moment all around the world, I think it's really important to be just really tuning into this and making sure that what we're doing right now is what we really want to be doing so that we can be fully aligned and fully on the path that we're supposed to be. Being multi-passionate, this is something that I not struggle with but have struggled with in the past. For me, it is now. I've accepted it and I work with it. And it's amazing, but it's also something that can be super challenging for a lot of us, and especially when we're trying to build something and we're just in like the building stage, it can seem super overwhelming to have multiple things we're passionate about, multiple things that we want to work on, multiple things in the building stage. But with most things, I believe that we choose our passions, we choose what we come here to learn, the lessons, the people we're surrounded by, the culture that we're in, the time. And I believe it's all for a purpose, it's all for a reason, and it's all soul aligned. We just need to kind of squeeze out the juice, the goodies that we're supposed to, so that we can embody our truth and we can live that and really live the most abundant life that we are supposed to through utilizing all those tools. Many of you know I not only have this channel, but I have multiple social medias. I have done embodiment coaching. I used to teach naked yoga. I also have my own clothing line that is just beautiful and delicious, and it's also expanding to candles infused with crystals and some other goody things. I have also done a music degree and I will be bringing out an album in the next couple of years. Stay tuned for that. I'm also a vegan and a Taurus, and I just basically want to get all of my stuff sorted so that I can just have a home, very Taurus of me, and spend time in nature and rescue animals and just do that and not really focus on anything else. So I know that that's also coming at some point. For now, I'm focusing on White Wolf, my brand, which I will link below. You can go and check us out. It's all ethical, vegan, sustainable. I love being able to put something like this into the world because our world really needs it. We need to be aware of what we're buying. We need to be aware of where it's coming from. And if we do choose, say, like a cheaper or a quicker option, we know that and we're aware of it, and that's a conscious choice. It's the same with like food, for example, whether you're vegan or not, if it's junk food or if it's eating meat, like you know where it comes from, you know how the animal was looked after or not looked after, like you know the process and you know what it took for them to take their life so that you could have that energy and so you could consume that in whatever way you desire. This is really important because we need to bring more presence back into our daily lives, and that means being aware, being conscious of what we're putting on our body, putting in our minds, and having around us in terms of people and events. All of these things come together to make such a big difference in your life and your soul path. It's an ever-expanding journey, and as always, I'm very interested to hear your journeys with it, any of the things that I touch on today. Just leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram and we can have a chat. So being multi-passionate, I'm going to break this down into a few little chapters. The first being, we need to honor the seasons. Spring, summer, autumn, winter bring with them different things that we want to do, different ways that we want to express. If we want to go more inner and just work on individual stuff and not be too outwards and not be working on like big stuff and maybe birthing something into the world, whether it's a business or new job or something like that. It's the same with the seasons that we have inside of us. So whether you're a woman or not, if you bleed, you have your own cycle. And if you're around someone that bleeds, you will be affected by their cycle. This is something else that I really wish that was taught in high schools because it is so important. I have done a video on this, so I will link that somewhere above. Go and check that out. This is a big one for me and I used to talk about it a lot. I brought out a little course on it a while back. And that will be included into courses that I have coming up in the future. So also stay tuned for that, because that's some exciting stuff. But yeah, this is really important to me. It's something that I will be teaching my next generation, talking about more as we go on. So honoring the seasons, what does that actually look like? If you have watched that video, or if you are just familiar with how the energy cycle goes, we want to go inner in winter. We want to do less. We want to not necessarily birth any new big ideas, but just kind of bring it all in, take a rest your body, rest your mind, your spirit, really dig in and see what's serving us, see what's not serving you, get rid of what's not serving you. That's like the big purge that happens. And then slowly as we begin to come into spring, summer, you can come out more, the ideas will come out more, you'll feel more able to like hold bigger energy and therefore birth like a business into the world or new job, something like that. Even collaborations, they're really good to happen in spring and summer. And this, in terms of content creation and being multi-passionate, means that everything will completely shift. Your day-to-day will completely shift. What you're working on, your projects will completely shift. For example, sometimes in winter, I just want to get rid of everything social media wise and just focus on playing music and writing, because I really get into this like deep melancholic state and I'm able to just process emotions in song and in writing and all of those things. In terms of writing a book, that also comes up every winter. I start to put in a few chapters and just really sit with it, sit with ideas. A lot of the work is also done not even as outward as writing or singing. It's just like sitting down, and if you're playing a game or if you're reading a book or listening to an audiobook, walking, meditating, looking out at nature, like all of these things will help you really process and still do the work without doing much. So in your wintertime, a really good tool is to just post, just write when you really feel aligned. Yes, sometimes it is good to push yourself a little bit when you know that you could show up and give some good energy, but you don't want to push it too much because you don't want to be burnt out in this season. Summer is where you have more energy, you want to go full pelt. Winter is where you really just need to take a breather and just chill out and go inner and just focus on you. Setting aside a lot of time for yourself is also useful. Playing with different things, playing with ideas, not having to make money off them straight away. And this can also expand into like a couple of years. So if you start something really small in any season, for a couple of years, you might want to work on that. And that brings us a little bit into the next topic. Honor the lessons, honor the time you have with that particular project. Enjoy it, learn from it. Maybe it feels like it's going to be your forever. And then if it starts to feel like it's not, that's totally okay. Whether that's just for a season, you just want to put it aside for summer and work on something else, or put it aside for winter, or you just want to completely get rid of it. I used to teach naked yoga. That was my vision. That was the only thing I could see. I used to travel Australia, and that was it. I was writing medicine music. I was channeling medicine music. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't partying, I was just doing the yoga life, and that was amazing. I learned so much. There are so many people out there that needed that channel, needed that help, and the classes were a success. They were absolutely amazing, and I used to cry every single time I taught them. Part of me wishes that I could have kept with that. I could have kept with that momentum and made them really big and become probably the youngest person in the Southern Hemisphere to teach something like this. But I also wasn't there for it. I had learned what I needed to, and I knew that my passions were transfiguring into something else. Ended up having to align with that and go with that flow. Although it didn't feel like a flow at first, I had to just completely stop. I had to stop everything. I put aside my phone for months. I didn't talk to anyone. I lived in the hippie community for a while, and I just didn't do anything related to that business and that practice. After those few months, I came back and I came more into like entrepreneurship and network marketing, and just discover this whole world of people that are actually more engaged with the business side of it and in different ways as well. That really helped me to uncover different parts of my soul, different parts of my past. Who knows? This is me now. This is a big part of me building my YouTube channel over the next couple of years. That is absolutely amazing. If you could take a moment, just a moment, to like and subscribe and maybe share with a friend, that would mean the absolute world, because this is our mission right now, to get this content out to as many people that need it as possible. And if you want to head over to Instagram or TikTok, come and follow and just share in the journey, share in the love, share anything that you want with me. Feel free to always message me or leave a comment below, share with the community. It's all love here, and it's just really, really amazing to be on this part of my journey with you. So thank you. Throughout all of this, remember that you're human. Yeah, you are human. Only you can bring your gifts into the world the way that you can. Even if you have multiple passions or you have different chapters in your life, different jobs, different careers, that's totally fine. That's your path, and you will always learn the lessons that you need to get to that goal and to continue on after that. So no one can learn what you need to learn the way that you can, the way that you embody it, the way that you talk about it, the way that you help others. You are on this journey and it's yours and yours alone. So please remember that. Remember that you don't have to be perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. We can put out a certain idea over social media. Honestly, we are all imperfect, and that is so beautiful. That's what makes us human, and that's the human experience we have come here to have. That is living in your truth. On a more practical side, organizing your ideas and your passions is amazing as well. I'm someone that learns from both writing and talking and putting stuff all over my walls. So this is my little study space, my workspace. I have one wall dedicated to my business, my clothing brand, and also another section of the wall that's just a list of all the different things that I do and how I want them to come into my life, grow over the next couple of years. Then the other side, I just have pictures. I have pictures of what I want my life to look like. And as the journey changes, I change those pictures around. So I might throw some out when I'm no longer interested in whatever that was about, or I might add some. As my visions change, my wall changes. And that's a reflection of my inner self. That's a reflection of my own changes, the different seasons I'm going through, things like that. Another good tip is to save things on your phone as folders. So you can save photos into folders on your phone. You can save notes into different folders. You can also save things on Instagram into different folders, TikTok as well, YouTube, private places where you have different ideas, different things, and then you can collate them. You can keep adding to them. The same with Pinterest, keep adding to them. And then whenever you're in that process of working on that one particular passion, you can go back to all those folders and be like, oh yeah, that's like an idea I had 6 months ago that wasn't resonating at the time because I wasn't really focused on this passion, but now this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. So that's a great thing that I've already come up with. I don't have to do the work again. I just have to blurt it out to the world in whatever way I want to. Remember as well to go at your own pace. No one can do it the way that you can, and your pace is perfect. You might learn certain lessons slower than other people, and you might learn them faster. You might be slow for a few years, dabbling in different things, but once it all comes together, it comes together like that. And other people might have learned things really quickly a few years ago, and now they're kind of restarting, and then maybe restarting their career, completely changing their lives, and they might look towards you because you have a lot of lessons that you have learned slowly, really embodied, and you might be able to look to them as well at certain parts. They've learnt lessons really fast, and they might be able to help you overcome things without having to go really deep into it. You might not even need to. So going at your own pace is always so important, and being okay if you want to change. Be okay if you want to work on something for a few months and then have that identity, really embody that, dress like it, do whatever you want to do to become that identity, really express it. And then that's okay if you want to leave that be forever or for another chapter, work on something else. It's totally fine. If people aren't happy about it, if other people around you are going to say something, it's because they have a certain identity of you locked in their head, and that makes them uncomfortable. So you changing makes them uncomfortable because they can't rely on you a certain way maybe, or they can't see you a certain way, put you in a box. They're like, oh, who is this person? this is a bit dangerous, or this is a bit like unnerving because I don't know what they're doing now. They're acting a certain way, saying different things. And that's also beautiful. I love having people in my life that are constantly really embodied and just transitioning through different phases, because I can be like, yo, I haven't seen you in 6 months. You're a completely different person. Or even if I saw her yesterday, she's still a completely different person. What do you want to talk about today? What do you want to do today? Like, how are you today? Who are you today? How do you want to act and be and relate? Because that's always changing. And that, of course, gives you the permission to change as well. In terms of practical stuff as well, your identity that you have, maybe you have a public identity in terms of like a website, a blog. It's also okay to really dive in and do stuff. And then maybe just take off the website for a while, just make it not public. You can always downgrade your membership prices and just have it there for when you need it. The last topic I'm going to touch on is cut out what's not serving you. So whether that is people, going to events, doing recreational drugs, putting stuff in your body, the things that you do every single day make up your chapter. So in order to change how that chapter looks, you need to show up a different way. You need to do different things every single day. And that also includes changing your mindset. If you used to have a chapter or an identity that was, oh, money doesn't grow on trees, I'm broke, like I can't get anything, my business isn't successful, you need to do a lot of work in order to change that mindset and have a different chapter. And that's where I have been. That's a big one for me. I think from day one, having the last name is Rich, let alone having both of my sides of my family, just dealing with that on a more negative basis and things that I've had to step away from and realize that those mindsets, those beliefs aren't mine. I need to change them myself. That is the journey that I've been on. Now I'm able to actually help other people become more successful in their businesses, become more embodied. I used to be completely separate from my body, from myself. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted. I was unhappy and I was just in a really bad place for so long. I talked about this a little bit. I feel like I should probably do a few more videos on different chapters of it because it was massive and I'm a completely different person. One of my videos that I've done on pivoting covered quite a bit of this, so feel free to go and check that out. I'll leave that above and in the description box. I will say that this is not an easy task, but once you get used to it, it just is like a weight off your shoulders every single time. It's like, okay, once you identify what is weighing you down, you can really just let it go. You can always change your actions just a little bit every single day. Same with the people you surround yourself with, same with what you're learning, same with your career. There's always things that you can do. Even just the way you dress, the way you talk, the things you talk about. If you are trying to change a certain mindset and you're around people that you always talk about the same story with, change that story. Decide to stop talking about it. Maybe let them know, hey, is there something else we can start talking about? Because I'm actually working on letting that part of myself go. If you want to support me through that process, I would really appreciate it by us not talking about it, or maybe talking about it in a different way. Maybe looking towards more positive stuff. And if you're both working on the same thing, the same beliefs, you can do the work together as well. So I will leave it there today. There's quite a few things that we covered, quite a few things that you can work on. If you have any advice for other people or you have anything you want to share, just leave a comment below or DM me. I would love to hear from you, get to know you. Remember to like and subscribe. It really, really helps get this out there, helps me stay aligned on this process, and share it with a friend if you think that it would help them.